Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to 3 Zen. I've had a video sitting on my desktop for about 18 months or so, just sitting there. It's about a very special person in my life, Louise II, and I just didn't think it was good enough, if you will. And I meant one day to go back and redo it, but up until today, it's been fine just sitting there on my desktop. So this morning I went back and had a look at it, and it is good enough for what I wanted to say at that time. It is good enough. But I knew at the time there was a little bit more I had to say about Louise, to Louise, that I'm going to say in this video. So this one's going to be entitled Louise II. As I mentioned in the first video, at one time Louise worked as a receptionist for Mama's Cafe in San Antonio. Now, when you walked into Mama's, the first thing you will notice, or would notice, or I noticed, were the beer caps all over the yards. They just took their empty beer caps and threw them out in the yard. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? So anyway, I just made note of that, and I walked in to the place about 1:30, 1:40, somewhere in there. Louise got off at 2 o'clock, and I just always enjoyed talking with her. I learned a lot from her. Didn't know how much I learned from her until a couple years later. Anyway, that'll become clear here in a minute. So this particular day I walk in and I walked up to the bar, sat down, and they brought a beer, and it was about 20 minutes to 2. So I was just sitting there, and I have a sick mind, I'll admit that, but it's been fun. It's been a fun mind, that's for sure. Anyway. So I asked the gal behind the bar if she happened to have a job application. She said, well, yes, I do. At the time, I was waiting to hear from the airlines, so I thought, why not? So I got this job application and filled it out, name, rank, serial number, where I lived, what my phone number is, and so forth, and it said job applying for. So I put down beer cap distributor person. I wanted to be the guy that sat out front on one of their benches, drank beer, and then flipped the beer caps in the yard. I thought that'd be a great job. And it said, any special requirements? It says, yeah, perhaps a ride home at the end of the evening. I don't think I'd be in too good a shape to drive. I mean, I was up front with them. So anyway, I sat there and filled that application out. Didn't lend a second thought to it. Gave it to Trixie behind the bar, or whatever her name was, and she said thank you and just walks off and put it in a file. I forgot all about the damn thing. Anyway, it wasn't but maybe a couple months later I get this card in the mail from Mama's. Well, isn't that strange? And I opened it up, and what it was a gift certificate for 2 meals at Mama's from the manager. They said, unfortunately, we don't have a job for you at this time, but we love your sense of humor, and we would like to give you a free meal for you and a guest at Mama's. Well, that just cracked me up. I still have that letter, and I may come back on and show you someday, but I don't know if I could find it right now. But anyway, be that as it may, the story speaks for itself. Like I said, I'd sit there and have a beer and talk to Louise about all kinds of things. And I thought she was a very wise woman. I still do. And I put a premium on wisdom, more so than education. I'll take a wise person over an educated one any day. The reason I wanted to tie this up is because Louise is facing some challenges today. And I did not say what I really wanted to say in the first video when I signed off, but I wanted to let Louise know how much of a special person she has been in my life. I couldn't be sitting here today had she not taken time, and it sounds trite, but to love me before I could learn to love myself. And for that, Louise, I will always be grateful to you. You have a special part in my heart, and I will always love you. So thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being a mentor, a counselor, for laughing with me, for sharing your stories with me. And I am just so grateful. Thanks very much, and Louise, you have my prayers for you. It's like Red Skelton would say, good night and may God bless. Take care.